Hi there, it's AGP, and I thought I would do a nice little get to know AGP video. So I'm just gonna tell you a few little things about myself. Not gonna tell you a whole lot because I am hoping to perhaps one day do one of those fancy little Q&A videos, but who knows? So this is just a little brief thing about AGP. So, as you know, I'm AGP, which stands for Aurora Guinevere Price, but that in fact is not my real name. My real name is Olivia, and I am 20 years old, soon to be 21 in a matter of months, and I am the Pisces zodiac sign for anyone who is interested in knowing what my zodiac sign is. No one's ever asked me, but I figured it might as well share that little random piece of information. The origin of my username, which I don't think very many people know, is actually dates back to when I was about 13. My best friend and I had just become best friends, and we realized that we had a shared interest in vampires and werewolves. Yes, we were a bunch of crazy weirdo freaks, and we still are. But we decided we wanted to make a story of ourselves, and we wanted to do it something, weird with vampires and werewolves because that was the craze. And since everyone used to get us confused as sisters, and even our parents get us confused, which is kind of the weird thing, we thought it'd be fun to make our characters sisters, and one of us would be a vampire, one of us would be a werewolf, and then we'd later become both of them, and it would be weird and awesome and cool. And so we came up with our character names. Our last name, for those of you who are clever enough to figure it out, is actually a homage to the actor Vincent Price, whom my friend and I both adore greatly. We love that man beyond words. And my friend was very clever in her naming. She decided to go with vampire names. So her original character's name was Violet Selene, but then later changed it to Victoria Selene. I was not quite so clever in my naming. I kind of just wanted to go with something that was older and kind of more romantic, as that was kind of my character, was kind of that hopeless romantic idiot, because that is me in real life. I'm a hopeless romantic idiot. And I came across this list of names that were just like these really pretty kind of like old English names, and I loved them, but I couldn't decide between them. I was very stuck on both Aurora, which was at the time my favorite Disney princess, and Guinevere, which had this kind of the twist spelling. There was a second I instead of an E. And I couldn't make up my mind between them. And eventually, I think it was probably my mom who suggested it to me, but the thought occurred, do them both. Why not? If you can't figure it out, just do them both. And that's how Aurora Guinevere Price was born. That is the origin of the username. But more background on myself. I'm from California, born and raised. Same town pretty much my entire life. And I grew up in the same school system too. I never went to a public school. I've always been to a private school ever since since preschool, pretty much. It's been the private school system, so I've never been to a public school up until, I guess, college, you could say. I guess it's kind of like public school. You don't have to wear uniforms, which was a weird thing for me because I was so used to wearing uniforms like 24/7. And being able to wear my own clothes was like, wow, this is so weird and awesome. I love it. But speaking of school and college, I am a theater major. That is my little background. I do theater. Although, fun fact, I've never actually done a live production. I mean, not in a theater setting. I've done, like, school performances and stuff. I've done that. But I've not actually participated in a live theatrical production. So it is a little weird being a theater major and having basically no theater experience. But my real passion is filmmaking, but sadly I can't afford to go to a big film school, and I don't want to have to get into the loans and stuff because I don't want to be spending all of my adult life trying to pay off debts, not with the way that, you know, the economy is. It's just, it seems so impractical. So I settled for theater, seeing as theater, essentially you can take more from theater to film than you can from film to theater. Theater is more of a universal thing that I feel like I can take more from, because I'm not focused on just one aspect of the entertainment world. I'm into, you know, design, directing, writing, makeup, construction. I'm basically into all of that. So I just want to be able to get into each aspect as much as I can, to learn as much as I can, to carry it over into my other passions, which being, you know, writing, voice acting, creating films, designing. I love the whole world of creating. It's just, it's my thing. And if I could, I would totally go to a video game design school, but I'm just more unsure of what I would do with that, not in terms of in the future, but in terms of getting there and paying for it. Because again, I want to be able to pass on loans. I don't ever want to do that. But at my absolute core, I am a film geek. Film is my thing. I grew up, thanks to my dad, pretty much just a film nut. We watched a lot of the old films, like film noir, the westerns, the Universal monster films. Universal monster films are my absolute favorite. I love those films to death. And it's actually kind of funny, because as a child, I was terrified of those movies. Like, Bela Lugosi's Dracula used to get me all the time. And my grandfather, and actually, I don't remember if it was probably for Christmas or Easter, he bought my sister and I matching cross necklaces, and I used to wear that thing to bed because I was so afraid that Dracula was gonna somehow come into my room at night and try to drink my blood. So I would wear that thing to bed just to protect myself. That's how scared I was. And my dad also, he still has them somewhere, I'm not sure where they've gone, but he had monster models of all the classic Universal monsters. And in our old house, we had a row of cabinets dividing the kitchen and the dining room, living room. And on top of the cabinets, he put the monster models. And so the light in the kitchen would be on, shining onto the models into the dark living room where we'd be watching TV. And on the wall, you can see all these grotesque shadows of these monster models, and it just used to freak me out. I used to just scream at my dad to put them away. And then, of course, I don't know, a switch flipped, and then I just told him, "Dad, I want your models. One day they will be mine." And he just kind of looks at me like, "What went wrong?" And I keep telling him, it's because I'm your child. That's what went wrong. But basically a lot of that film stuff has inspired me to become a writer too. And at a very young age, I was just desperate to get my hands on anything. Even before I could read, I was trying to read. And I don't know, just storytelling has always been my passion. Whether through song, through reading, through writing, through doing what little filming I've ever done in my life. It's always been what I've wanted to do, to entertain and to create. I'm pretty sure that it stems from I was never a real social child, which kind of comes from my mom was a military brat and moved around a lot and didn't make very many friends as a child, and my dad was an only child, didn't have any siblings, and didn't have very many friends, so I think it just kind of passed down to me to be kind of pretty much just socially inept. And I was a horrible friend too. We'd go to parties and I'd throw fits and I'd call my parents and say I want to go home, and I was a horrible friend. I would cause so much drama, and for the life of me now, I can't figure out why, because I'm not like that at all anymore. And but I used to be so alone all the time, and I think being able to have that escape into a story or into a movie, or to sit down and to create my own world, it was just, maybe there's some sort of domination complex in there, I don't know, but just having that escape was just a wonderful and beautiful thing. And to this day, I kind of see myself in trying to provide that for other people, trying to provide an escape from the real world, from troubles or from problems. And I kind of want to be able to be that for people. I mean, at this point, I may only have like 3 or 4 dedicated subscribers, but at least I feel like I'm making a difference and entertaining and helping them, even if I'm not. But it's nice to think that I'm making a difference in the world. Onto another subject. I'm kind of rambling on here. I didn't expect this to go on for so long. But I am really looking into following a career in voice acting. I don't know how I didn't discover this before, because it's just one of those things where you've been doing this for so long and it just seems like something that's natural, and all of a sudden you realize, why didn't I notice this before? And that was me with voice acting, because I would write stuff and then I'd go, I want to be able to hear how does this sound? Does this sound correct? And maybe I should time this. And I was actually writing a sort of Buffy spinoff, but it kind of like its own thing. And I was writing that, and I wanted to time it to make sure it would be timed correctly for an actual TV show. And so I actually did read through my scripts and voice all the different characters. And for the life of me now, I think about it, I go like, why didn't I realize this? I'm voice acting and I enjoyed it. And I think that was the most fun of my writing experience, was going through writing the script and then reading it to make sure that it timed well. And now it just seems like a no-brainer, voice acting. Though granted, I'm not much into the character voices, like, let's say, hi, I'm Bubbles, like something like that. Oops, I made that peak. But I'm not so much into that. I like doing the more kind of realistic character type of thing. Although I actually do want to try to get into character work, because that stuff is fun. It does wreck your voice like crazy, and I've not had lessons, so I need to be really careful with my voice. But I'm thinking I also really want to focus in on video games. Maybe doing just video game production or voice acting in video games. But I want to focus in on video games. And an interesting fact, although I think some people may already know this, but I am still relatively new to video games. My parents, when I was growing up, did not allow me to have video games. And, of course, all of my friends had video games, so I'd always go over to their house and be like, oh, I want to play your games. They're so cool. How do you play? Oh, gosh, I'm terrible at this. And so then I got into the Nancy Drew point-and-click games. My parents didn't object to that, so I played all of those. And then one of my friends suggested, was actually telling me about a game called Scratches. And so I was like, ooh, well, that's really interesting. Kind of want to get that. So I scoured it out, found it at Target as part of a 3-pack, which included, it was Scratches Director's Cut, Rem 2, and Penumbra Overture. Funny enough, did I say Penumbra 2? Meant to say Penumbra Overture. But Penumbra Overture was the only game out of that whole pack that worked. Rem 2 would crash, and Scratches it lagged out to the point where I couldn't even tell what was going on. So I played Penumbra Overture, and I was really bad at it. Like, the first time I put it in, I didn't know how to move the character because I wasn't aware that there was such thing as 3D games, or at least 3D computer games. So I was like clicking on the mouse going like, how do I do this? It was really sad. It was really sad to watch. And then I told one of my friends, and he told me, oh yeah, it's the WASD keys. I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense? I don't know. And I started playing that, freaked myself out with the dog, the first dog. If anyone's played Penumbra Overture, you know that dog in the beginning? That freaked me out like crazy. And, of course, I still wasn't even used to the concept of these type of games because I was still so used to playing the Nancy Drew point and click. And so I thought, well, there's this YouTube thing, right, that I've been using for several years now. And I thought, well, there's things like tutorials, makeup stuff, and so I was thinking, maybe there's something for video games. Maybe there's like a video game guide to this game on YouTube so that I could see what on earth I'm supposed to do. And so I looked it up on YouTube and ended up finding Halloween 4545 and found his Let's Play of Penumbra Overture. And that was my introduction, actually, to Let's Plays. And so I watched that, finished the game, got my friend and we played through the second Penumbra game. And after that, pretty much, I just ended up getting hooked onto horror games, and I moved on to Silent Hill and Resident Evil, because I was already a fan of the Resident Evil movies. Yes, I'm a fan of the Resident Evil movies, except for the last one. And I thought, well, Resident Evil's based on a video game. Let's check that out. And then I remembered, oh yeah, my other friend, really, really likes Silent Hill, the Silent Hill movie. Isn't that based on a video game? Okay, let's check that out. And so basically I kind of just started trying to weave my way through into video games, though I'm still not an expert, even though it's been like 4 years now. I still, when it comes to video games, I don't always know everything. I'm still kind of on the lower intelligence when it comes to them, but they are fun. And being a film person, since I am a huge film person, like I've said 50 million times, video games is a great outlet, I think, for film geeks, because essentially a video game is kind of like a movie. I mean, depending on the game, but especially like the Silent Hill games, they're so movie-like, because you don't have the distractions on, like, the on-screen distractions for me are like a huge thing. And just being able to completely immerse yourself, but know that you are, in a way, in charge of the story, and you are what's making things happen, as opposed to, I guess you can kind of metaphorically say that a movie is like a roller coaster. You stay on the rails and it takes you along a preset journey. A video game, while it can still be the same way if it's a linear game, does offer you at least some sort of amount of choice, where you can decide whether you want to continue onto the storyline or take a detour and examine some other things. And I find the concept of video games just really fascinating. So I've been talking for a bit longer than I expected, but I hope that let you get to know me a little bit better. I know I really didn't say much about myself, but like I said, I really do want to do a Q&A video. So if anyone is interested, just let me know, and I'll be happy to get something started. Also, I do now have a Facebook page. I actually originally had a Facebook page, but it was for something else, basically, and it was unpublished for a while, which I guess means that it went into some sort of stasis. And so the other night, I decided to open it back up and change it to basically as a page for my YouTube. Sorry, my words are getting mixed up. So if you want to, go ahead and I'll put a link somewhere and you can go check that out. Please give it a like so you can stay updated, because I'm planning on actually trying to be active on that. And I have a new vlog coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to say. I think that's pretty much it. And a little update, because I've already recorded my vlog that's coming out, and I did not mention this in it, but I am now doing a top Resident Evil characters of all time poll. I'll probably have that somewhere with the Facebook link as well. Or actually, well, there is a link to the poll on the Facebook page, but I can put both if people are just, don't feel like it, so I can put both. For the Silent Hill characters, yes, I was supposed to have gotten that done like a year ago, but I am currently working on an article version of the results. So the results will still come out, just in article form. And I plan on doing the same thing with Resident Evil poll once that's closed. And there are over 100 characters to choose from. I am not even joking. There's like a total of 106 characters to choose from. So I'm pretty sure that if you have like one or two favorite characters from the franchise, pretty sure they're probably in there. They better be, because otherwise I'm gonna just be like up the wall. Not really. I'll probably just shake my head and go like, oh well. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.